Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Hey, Mr. Gopi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm good. So maybe we'll have low attendance because nobody wants to own up to what they're committed, what the one thing they're committed to changing in 25 is. How about you, Mike? What's your one thing?
Utilizing my time more efficiently. This year, I had a really fantastic meeting with you and Alex Burns when you came to about a month ago, and you made me realize that yes, spending too much time on clients that are like you only have a certain amount of time in the day, and you need to utilize your time efficiently. So I need to um, dedicate my time more productive. So a lot of the clients that are, I wouldn't say a waste of time because nobody's a waste of time, but I would just utilize it more better. Delegate time, like have my team alleviate some of the time from my schedule so I could go out and find new business.
Hey,
Very good. Time management, no more time thieves. How about Mr. Kaplan? Do you have a overarching single thing that you got to change in 25?
I am working on a couple different things. I had a meeting with my coach about 2 weeks ago, and I'm holding my team members more accountable, and I'm prepping them on the first meeting in January. We're going to actually have a 90-day rollout for all of them. If they're not making their phone calls, if they're not doing their due diligence, then we're going to put them on probation. If they don't do it, then we're going to just cut the ties. We have a very family atmosphere, which is great. And they do some deals, but they're not producing what I expect and or what I consider the minimum. And it's taken a lot of time from me. So at the same time, I am looking to hire 2 more agents and looking to be more productive as a team this year.
Gotcha. So for me, what my big action for 25 is to be more accountable to my calendar and be more consistent with having more scheduled events, appointments with people that I need to be able to share my thoughts with. So and I think that's a big change because things happen and then sometimes I get behind on my calendar. I'm like, hey, I need to push this back and reschedule it, and I need to do a lot better to get where I want to go. Otherwise my days get longer and longer, and that's not sustainable. And then in essence, if I'm not sustainable, I can't serve you guys and ladies as well. So Patrick, how about you?
I just jumped on, Rob. I know we are working on helping the rest of the team get more accountable for 2025. We do have a minimum standard, as Scott was just talking about. So, we're looking for people to hit the phones a little bit more. We're encouraging the team members to everybody go get listings. Because I think, for some of our buyers agents, that's a nice little bonus for them throughout the year if they can get us all a couple listings.
And what's the one thing that you see moving the needle for that, Patrick?
I would say a bunch of my team members need to work on their scripting. It's not that they're not getting people on the phone. It's just that they're having a hard time, I think, getting pen to paper or setting that appointment.
Gotcha. And then another opportunity for improvement that I've noticed, especially with team members, is on the, oh, nice to meet you, but we're not ready right now. is always set up the follow-up appointment. Put it in the calendar. Even if you're putting it in for 3 weeks, say, hey, we'll meet on Wednesday at 10 o'clock, same time, Wednesday, January 19th. And if they get into that habit, it at least, puts them on the, puts them in the position of confirming an appointment instead of trying to set it. Just a suggestion. Alex,
Morning.
so what's your one thing for 25?
Yes, yeah, there's a couple things. I would say eating well. Just stick with a nice, good diet, and find when I'm eating well and exercising, then I'm a better person to be around. And so if I take care of myself, then I can take care of my team, and I won't be such an asshole. So controlling myself, I hear a lot of things about how, when I go to team leader meetings, I feel like everything's about how I need to get my agents to do more, but really it kind of falls on us, because if we're good leaders, then they will follow. And so if we get into nice habits and we make our phone calls and we do our phone calls in front of those people, then it'll hopefully inspire them. So it's leading by example.
Yeah, so there's a few things I'm taking from that. One of them is, the default mindset of you're helping agents overcome, I guess it would be scripting roadblocks, right? Because I think if you really invest in the process, you're looking forward to the objections because you know how you're going to address them, right? Instead of, is that a got you, right? Or I think a lot of team members and agents in general, they're just waiting for a few bad calls to say, I don't like to do this anymore.
Right.
Right. And we need to change the default mindset from, and it's not like, oh, I'm going to get 100 no's to get a yes. I love getting no's, but it's, I'm comfortable, addressing the challenge because, we do this all the time, and
I find,
and
Rob, I find that, if it's just about our goals or my goals, like when I say our, I mean like mine or the team's, I find that those goals only last for people for a couple of months. But if you want the longevity of your team agents to be calling in March, April, May, June, it's because you've aligned your goals with their goals. You've invested in finding out what motivates them and what they want to do. And then when you have that talk with them, and they're not meeting their targets, it's just you bringing them back to why they started with this in the process. What was the reason for them to pick up the phone as much as they have this year? Because you invest in the beginning of the year with them.
So Alex, is there somebody you've been doing it for, is it 19 years now? How many years?
It'll be 20 in February.
20 years. So are there any standouts of people that you really changed their lives because of what you taught them, whether they're still with you or not?
Yep.
And you want to, how does that make you feel?
It's awesome. One of them is my best friend, and he is my we call it principal partner in my team. So he's my partner, and he's allowed me the opportunity to be able to pursue my goals and dreams in the States. So I have someone I could trust. He's actually a better realtor than I am. So that's awesome. And then I've got another most recent team member. His name's Jack. And I got him just out of sheer luck when he was in a down moment. And that's how recruiting works. Unfortunately, it doesn't always, you don't get good agents all the time that just want to join a team. You get good agents that are going through a tough time and they need help. and then you help them. And Jack, he's been with me for 2 years, and he's between $400,000 to $500,000 in GCI, and he's splitting a 50-50 arrangement with our team. So that would be one of my more recent success stories.
And even if the the student or the person that you help ultimately leaves the team, it's really interesting to see how you can impact somebody. I think back of like Mike Tejada bringing Mike Martinetti on. The guy was a gym teacher in Newark, and now he's the #1 agent in one of our MLSs.
It's awesome.
Even though he soon left the team and eclipsed the teacher, but some of those things really have impact beyond the dollars, right? Because dollars and cents, they come into your account, they leave your account, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I see the connection between you're taking better care of yourself and being able to provide for your team a pathway for them to to have that exponential growth. Anybody else have their one thing for 25? And I know we all have many things, but what's that one thing that has to happen?
I can go, Rob. I don't know if someone said this yet, but I would say time blocking is my big thing. I don't know why I struggle with it, but time blocking with myself and the team. Because as the team is growing, time seems to be getting away.
Yep. And I think when we met last week, didn't you say every Tuesday you have your office meeting, your team meeting, right?
I do, but now I'm trying to take it, a next step.
Right, but it was interesting because sometimes people you said ask you, "Do we have a team meeting this week?" You're like, "Yes, every Tuesday, whatever time you have it." And I think that putting more calendar discipline in is gonna pay huge dividends, and you might not know it, but your team members are watching you all the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you might preach one thing and try to wing the rest, but they're paying attention. But thank you for sharing that. How about Mr. Chopper? Do you have anything that you want to change in 2025? Like the one North Star?
Like was alluded to before, we've changed it from the team goal to individual goals. And with that, taking a page out of Glenn's book, Accountability is Love. So Patrick and I did one-on-ones with all the team members and are more focused on their goal, because we know if they achieve their goal, then we'll achieve the team goal. But the key is the accountability.
100%.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. How about Schmidt's Luxury? What's the one thing?
Good morning. It's interesting because I'm picking up some more from everybody else, which is great. But I think it's for me to be more aware of people that are making excuses rather than efforts. Because I think what I learned, this was my first full year having a team, and I learned that making them accountable, which I've learned through this group, really does matter. And as Glenn says, it shows love. But I realized that there were at least 2, probably 3 people on the team that I thought were struggling, but really what they were doing was just making excuses rather than making the efforts to grow. So now for me to be more aware of where the team is, what they need, and are they really in it to work hard, or are they in it because they saw that I was starting to grow and they thought they could just breeze through that. So I guess being more aware of what my team members are doing and being accountable for what they are or are not doing.
And Lynn, how much time do you give somebody to get on the bus? And there's
Well,
just, I'm curious, and then I want to get some feedback from the group because
Oops, you're cutting out, Rob.
are you still there, Lynn?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
I
One of
said
us
that's a
cut out.
tricky question. How much time do you give them?
Well, this year I've learned that I gave too much time. And I learned that they were capable. One person in particular left the team and then was clearly capable of doing everything that we were talking about doing to grow our business. When he was no longer on the team, when I asked him to leave the team, all of a sudden he was able to do everything. So this year I gave it until it failed. And I guess I could seek some advice from everybody else that's been team leaders longer of what is a reasonable amount of time. I lost Rob,
Not
but I
all-
don't know if I lost everybody else.
Not all at once.
Does anybody
think-
have
I think-
advice?
I think that we need to get more face-to-face with our prospecting rather than just phones. I think the weekends are probably the best bet, or early evenings, is to get face-to-face with our areas that we work in with people.
Ron,
That's
how
what we're
about-
going to try to improve on.
Ron, how about, leaning into the seeds I put out on Friday about, having days which you do certain activities. For example,
Right.
maybe Tuesdays is set up face-to-face meetings and send out thank you notes, right? And then you just keep driving that. Because if you're doing face-to-face meetings, it might be face-to-face meetings with people in the industry that might be able to refer people to you. It might be, people that are referrers, because there's a skill to identifying a referrer. And Danielle can verify that, right? Alan Kazin. You remember the nexus of that one, right? It started with a story. It literally started with me talking about, 25 years ago, I had this crazy guy that kept referring clients to me. He was an alpha referrer, and I just hit him up on LinkedIn because I completely lost touch. And how many transactions did you wind up doing, Danielle?
1, 2, 3, like 5 total. Yeah.
Five
Pretty quickly.
transactions. 5 transactions from a story. And I think if we can identify people who, he has that referrer mentality, right? Danielle, he likes to be center of attention and tell everybody what's good and what's not good. And if he loves you, he's going to be referring you.
Absolutely.
So, Ron, maybe making face-to-face appointments, to that extent, and you're looking for that one golden nugget, that's going to refer you lots and lots of business.
Yep, that's a good suggestion. Yeah.
What's our ETA? 30. So yeah, that's a great one. Anybody else? What's your thing for next year?
We're focused on the transaction goal on our side that the team set.
Can you repeat that?
We're uber focused on the transaction goal that the team set with the existing team size.
And how are you going to manage that? Is it all just accountability driven?
100%. Yeah, accountability is ratcheted up, but I think that when you focus on delivering on what each team member has set for themselves, and every effort is around that, it's not just accountability, it's looking at them, looking at what they're doing, looking at what they're having success at, and steering them in the right direction. But the number is this big bold number that's in everyone's face on our dashboards in our office, on their phones, and a singular focus on that, I think, is the goal of this 2025 year for us.
You
Okay.
guys with big teams, do you have to give your agents leads? I know they have to prospect on their own, but do you have to pay Zillow or some kind of a lead source to give them leads, keep them around?
If you want volume, I think you need to do a little bit of that. I don't buy any Zillow leads at all. The only thing we do is social media, and that's not in any consequential value. I mean, we'll wrap this year with $7,000 in advertising dollars and just under 200 transactions. So, and that's all in. That's every mailer, everything we've ever done. So most of it is. I'll give you an example. We revised our accountability for the single focus of, we'll just do one thing. And when we hold an open house, I haven't had an agent leave an open house without a buyer in the last 4 weeks since we started it, because their single focus is just one buyer, not 5, not 10 numbers, just one person that you need to connect with and walk away with that lead. And they have been killing it with that. So I think I had too many things I was measuring before. And I've just like funneled it down. So now the question is then what do they have to do? So every agent has to have 3 lead pillars that they follow. And we just keep them razor sharp focused on those.
Glenn, I want to ask you a question. It's actually a 2-legged question. How does somebody wind up having 2 referrals on a deal, Homes for Heroes and Redfin?
That is an agent with a very a generous heart, and surprisingly just says that they're going to get 3 deals from that one deal, and that's why they did it. They should. Technically, you don't want to do that, but I've had Tim do it. I've had others do it, and it always works out to their advantage. They'll get 3 deals for that one.
See, and most people would be like, I'm not paying 2 referrals. I'm getting like at the end of the day, this is like a rental commission. But I suspected I would hear what you said, and that's a mindset, right?
Yeah, and a very astute observation, by the way, Rob. I thought that one just slipped right through without being
No,
noted.
no.
But Rob, a quarter of my Homes for Heroes that I give back, and I've done $410,000 now. A quarter of that is posthumously, right? It's to the wife.
Right.
So I just look at it like, if you do that, business. So people ask me all the time, "Are you crazy?" I don't even know what a full commission is. I have no idea. My wife surprises me sometimes. I had one the other day, and I was like, "Wow, that was 18 grand. That was a big one." She goes, "All of them are big ones until Home to Heroes happens." So I don't even have the concept of what a real commission is. So I just do what I do.
Yeah. So, but anyway, and for those who don't know, is Tim your number 2 or number 1 team member?
Tim is number one part-time, and he's part-time.
And didn't complain an iota about paying out the 2. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out in the ether. We'll hit one more, and then we'll wrap it up here. Anybody else have anything that's top of mind that you want to hit?
I just want to say one thing, Rob, that I think you need to be pretty audacious with whatever big lofty goal you're going to set out there is. In prior years, I let agents pick a number that was safe, and they always met it. And then this year, past year, I made them put a stretch target on top of it, and all of them exceeded the stretch target. And I think that sometimes we just, if you're worried about one transaction, the next transaction ahead of you, you're missing the 100 that are waiting for you. And I think that that's the reality that came from my learnings in 2024.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if there's no other contribution, I'm going to put this piece out there and say, all the team members that we attract, that we build into our team, we've done our vetting, but I'm going to tell you that every team member is going to have a significantly different outcome depending on the culture they fit into. So in other words, if somebody's with, you know, Charlie versus Mary, right? There's going to be a tremendous impact that you have, or if there's not an impact, then it's a tremendously missed opportunity to understand your team members, to give them that stretch target, right? To foster a healthy amount of competition, right? Not a toxic level. But competition is phenomenal. Letting other people see success that other people have is, you know, that's part of what we do. So at the end of the day, don't miss your, I'm going to use the heavy words of your moral obligation to help people that you invite to your team to meet their goals, because there's no limit to this. And the more money you make, you know, the more smiling faces you have, right? You're helping people, you know, buy or sell, you upgrade their lives, you know, liquidate a substantial financial asset. And we have the ability to make it seamless and easy. And you might say it's not easy, but in reality, it is easy because we know what the outcome is going to be. We've done it hundreds of times. So anyway, last call before I let everybody out a few minutes early. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's contribution, and let's try to reflect back on, you know, how well we've done this year and recalibrate for 2025. And maybe we get a little bit of slow time, a little bit of family time. For me, in the morning is when, you know, I'm trying to do my best thinking and to, I'm the most trainable in the morning. So I like to digest content that I can build upon. So have a very, very productive week, and see you all on Friday and Monday.
Rob, you're down in Florida now, right? Or tomorrow?
I am. No, I'm here. I'll be in Plantation tomorrow, 11:45. So I
Okay,
can meet you
perfect.
before or after.
Okay, great.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
all.
Great day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.